Hey there. Alright, so I'm going to share a particular instance on how they did an anchor and the effect that it had on me. So first, I did a line of crystal meth, right? And when I did it, it was obvious when my roommate came in. Chivas is his name. So then he began doing this. And then boom, there it was, the anchor. So then I went to eat, and then guess what other gang stalkers were doing? Endlessly. Everyone in the homeless shelter. Everyone. And it was so much that for a little, I couldn't take it anymore for a little bit, but this is how your mind works when that happens. So first, it ties in to a little panic attack. A panic attack. How do they say it? How did Butter say it in South Park? No, a panic attack. Anyways, a panic attack. Whatever. So, whenever you're here, in my mind, I went, the first thing that you feel is that they know that I did the line of crystal meth. That's the thought. So then, whenever they start doing it, your mind just goes to that thought. And it's a negative feeling. So then, it kind of reinforces it with the negative memory. So then, that becomes a gang stalking anchor. So then, every gang stalker begins doing that. And then, because it's tied to an emotion, it gives you the knot in your throat. And with time, this becomes a thing that automatically causes you to produce a knot in your throat. That's how they train you. So this is where the magic happens. You are trained like a dog to have a physical and mental response to a sound. And guess what? Whenever you're outside and someone sniffs, which is something that a lot of people do, but the thing is that since typically one is not trained to hear that, you never notice it until after the gang stalking. After the gang stalking, you always start noticing, well, at least let me just speak for myself, that I always notice when people go like that because they train me to notice. So, guess what? That builds the illusion that everyone is involved because you are trained to notice the sniffing. And you have the negative emotion, and when your mind gets in that negative state of mind, and with everything around that is, when you contextualize that with the gang stalking, you automatically will begin assuming that they are gang stalkers. That's how the illusion works. Does that make sense? I'm going to explain it to you again. First, you are trained, you have an event. and there is something that is related, something that gang stalkers can do that is related to a negative experience. In this case, in my case, was doing a line of something, which we all know that the sniffing anything includes a. So, boom, that was that. So then, the gang stalkers began using it. They start doing that. Since you had a negative experience, you automatically, since you have the context of everyone knows what I'm thinking, then so they even they might not know, they just know what to do. They just know to sniff. They start doing it, but you feel like they know about it. So it's reinforcing that a lot, like a lot. And every time you have that negative emotion, you have a knot in your throat. Guys, I got it. It's shame. The emotion that causes the knot in the throat is shame. Gang stalking is a shame-based operation. The negative emotion is shame, because the only way they're gonna make you feel shame is if you feel that everyone knows about the one thing you did that you know they shouldn't be doing. It's shame. It's a shame-based operation. You have this. I don't think you saw it because of the filter, but your Adam's apple, your throat moves. They see you swallow saliva. That is their visual cue that they hit a chord. They don't need to know what you're thinking. They just need to see you have a reaction. All right? Now, when they do it a lot, you start having that reaction. So there is something in your throat that whenever that activates, you automatically start relating whatever caused that to a negative, to negativity. You start interpreting everything negative within the context of gang stalking. So now, since I'm still trained to it. I always notice when someone goes, I just always notice it, and I didn't before, and a lot of the times I observe, and when they're doing it on purpose, and when they're not. But when you're in the middle of gang stalking, you feel that it wasn't on purpose. But then there's where you start making assumptions. You start assuming that everyone who sniffs is part of the gang stalking principality. And voila. Now they have trained you to have a physical and mental response to anyone sniffing. So then that's when they can practically, do a kill like they did to a dog, and you will be the dog. Now that we know that, these cues add up. And next thing you know, you have a group of people doing all the signs that have an effect on you. They're doing the things that I told you about. You might learn about them later in the future. And I think I'm going to probably explain them to you and how they happen, so you're able to have more context if you're getting gang stalked. But know one thing. It is not permanent. Gang stalking is only permanent if you keep focusing on it. So, how I got out of it was that I took a class on cybersecurity. Well, 8 classes. Right now, I'm actually in my 3rd class of cybersecurity. But you have to have you have to lift your self-esteem, your intellectual self-esteem. You have to use more parts of your brain, and you have to just begin thinking about other things. I was sensitized to colors. I was sensitized to sniffs. I was sensitized to anything that said has to do with tranny. At least I felt like it. So I wasn't sensitized to that. It's because they just made an assumption, about trannies, and I made the connection because I was in that state of mind where I was really the connection. But in reality, they don't know shit. It's a guessing game. They're just guessing. They contextualize your current life. They contextualize what they know about you, what other people have told them about you, and then they just come up with words, be it them or be they not related. But since you are in a state of mind where you identify with everything that has to do with gang stalking, you start assuming. And that's the big secret of gang stalking, is that they hardly know anything, and most of the things that they're throwing at you, they're just guesses. And they're observing you to see how you react to those words. And you, by your reactions, are giving them the answers. So the solution to that is to stay stoic and not react. Now, back to the way of getting out of that. All of that gang stalking thing is a mental jail because it keeps your mind within a particular range of thoughts. But the moment that you are invested in something else that becomes more important to you than gang stalking, that is when you start changing, because you start thinking about what you like, and you start focusing on you, and you grow your power by doing that, by knowing that you have other things and more important things to talk about. Right now, I'm talking about gang stalking because I enjoy talking about it. This is the playbook of gang stalking because I want everything to be public. I want everyone to know the tactics, just like I want everyone to know what they're dealing with and how to defeat it. So, if you are getting gang stalked, keep watching these videos, because I'm going to tell you everything about it. I'm going to tell you how to make it futile. All right? Bye.